At 6:47 right there. There's a live look at downtown Tallahassee.
Sunrise.
Kind of pretty and tranquil around here. A few hundred miles to our southeast.
Yeah, a little different. You know what happened yesterday for the first time since way back in April? Sunset before 8 p.m.
How about that?
Wow.
All right, first time since April.
So that's the only bit of fall we're getting right now.
That's pretty much the only bit of fall we're getting.
That's it right there.
And today, the normal daytime high drops from 91 to 90. All right, so on September 11th,
91 to 90.
We dropped to 89.
It'll be in the,
yeah, so about a week or so. But so if you're looking for fall-like weather, I understand. Lots going on, especially when we start talking about what's happening to our south, but really none of that impacting our forecast, at least not now. Maybe later today, tonight, we catch a couple of decaying rain showers from some of those extreme outer bands, but I think even those chances are pretty slim. So for most of our area, sunshine today with a couple of clouds. That breeze from the east and northeast is going to try to bring us back a little bit of moisture, but there's drier air north and west trying to go the other way, and we're sort of caught in the middle. And I think we're too far removed from where Dorian will be to really do much. Now, our extreme eastern areas, the I-75 corridor, better chance to see a little bit more cloud cover, especially as we head towards tomorrow. And maybe we adjust our forecast a little bit as we see where Dorian decides to go. The farther towards the coast, the farther west it goes, well, maybe we will start to see a few more clouds. If it stays a little farther out east, maybe we just get more sunshine. So we're still watching, and that's really the impacts on our area, how much sun or how much cloud cover we end up getting. 72 right now in Thomasville. It's 74 in Valdosta. We're at 76 in Tallahassee. The breeze, mainly from the northeast, is going to be noticeable, but I don't think we'd call it windy. 68 degrees in Blakely this morning. Want to see more numbers that start with a 6. It's September now. We're probably another week or so away. Maybe later this week we can bring in some cooler air. Maybe. 71 right now in Monticello, but still 77s for Perry and for Cross City. Everybody going to deal with that northeast breeze, but we're talking less than 10 miles per hour. Maybe this afternoon it perks up closer to 15. Now, there is some energy in the southwestern Gulf. We'll get to that in a little while. The big story, of course, you can see Dorian still churning just north of Grand Bahama, still doing a number on that island. It's been there since last night, but it looks a little different now. We can see that eye much smaller, much less symmetrical, and even starting to fill in with more clouds. The western side looks a little bit more beat up compared to the eastern side, but still holding together pretty well. And some of those outer bands are trying to get closer and closer to areas like West Palm and Fort Pierce and up towards Melbourne. And I do think they're going to start to feel more impacts today as the storm finally does start to move. The biggest rains are going to stay east of the center, which is usually how these systems work. And with some drier air finally making progress in the lower 48, that not only will help to steer this system, but maybe it can continue to weaken it a little bit more. We've been talking about that ridge out east that will help to be the steering mechanism, and it will. But now with this trough digging here too, that channel really should be able to get more clearly defined, and that trough should be able to help pick this guy up and get it moving. The faster that happens, the less the impacts will be. And we'd love to start seeing that happen this morning. I do think it's going to start moving this morning. Now, we've got a lot of other activity in the tropics, right? The focus has all been on Dorian, but there's more energy across the middle that needs some time to season. We've got more way out across the Atlantic, thousands of miles across the Atlantic, that's looking pretty close to development. And then we've got this one that we're calling potential tropical cyclone number 7. We'll probably start calling it Tropical Depression 7 later on this morning. Might get the next name on the list, which is Humberto. That's a chance maybe later on today. So there are absolutely some things going on. I'm sorry, Ferdinand's the next one. Then you got Gabrielle, then Humberto. Those are the next 3 names on the list. But anyway, look at it. The tropics still super active. That one, that potential tropical cyclone number 7, looks like it's moving west towards Mexico and Texas, and hopefully it'll do that fast enough before it can really develop into anything more serious. On the Gulf today, winds out of the northeast 10 to 20. Seas 2 to 5 feet. We'll put a moderate chop in the bays. There's a look at the tide times. We'll wrap up the high tides at 7 and then go back to low tides before lunch. 60s and 70s mostly here. We'd like to start seeing more 60s. Maybe at the end of the week, that's a possibility. Low 90s for highs, September hot. It's going to be a little warm out there today. Hopefully not as sticky, but I do think we could talk about a few showers to the east and a few more clouds where we could keep the temperatures down. Tonight it's mid-70s, more clear. If the storm moves a little bit more towards the west later tonight, we'll start to pick up a few more clouds. But for the time being, lots of low 90s, lots of low 70s. I'm optimistic a little bit that maybe by Friday and Saturday, maybe we can lower those morning temperatures a little bit and lower the humidity a little bit more.